Did that send? Yes, it did. Okay, good. Good, good. Let me actually update Discord. I don't know what those updates are. I presume it's like some fucking surveillance bullshit, but howdy. How do you do? That's what howdy is a contraction of. How do you do? Which is grammatically reminiscent in structure of the French introductory phrase "Comment ça va?" How, you know, how's it going? Anyways, this is a politics stream. Going great. How about you? Going pretty good myself. That's good. That's good. Let's go to, there we go. Monitor 1. This is I am going to talk about things that are political in nature, of course, but this is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to play some SimCity. I'm going to show you all some of the things that I've been doing. And you're going to get to see how the magic happens. Oh my God, is that true? Yeah, shocking. Many people cannot believe this, but getting rusty, I was first. Oh no. uh, yeah, just to provide some context on why I'm playing SimCity today. Number one, I feel like it in SimCity is fun, but number two, I since my experience that I talked about, like trying to mod Mario Kart, having a bunch of trouble, talking with the Retro Rewind dev support team. I'm going to be waiting until the next patch gets released for Retro Rewind in order to boot up the game and play again. She, Gotron, she. Remember, I'm a woman. No misgenderino, please. It's gonna take a little while to load, but yeah, that's why I'm playing SimCity. When Mario Kart gets patched, when Retro Rewind rather gets patched, I'll probably go back to that. Because I really do want to add a bunch of custom skins, play through the game with all the skins, show them off, and it just, I feel like that's going to be a great time, but I can't do that right now because of the new skin system has a patching feature where you can add skins into the game via this patches folder, and that doesn't work on Wii U. And the Wii U is how I play Mario Kart. You know, I would play it on Dolphin, but the controller I use is this. This is the Nintendo Wii Classic controller. And even though I have an adapter to be able to use that on PC, it's like the functionality of the adapter and Dolphin interact in a very strange and janky way, where sometimes I've taken a look at this in years past in the input viewer. Sometimes it'll just sporadically blink and drop input. So like you hold A to accelerate and not even letting go of the A button. Sometimes the game will just like register as the A button being pressed like every other frame or something, and you'll slow down a bunch, which is not something I want to happen in online. But you can see this is the default region in the game. And this is a region that I'm going to be approaching with a new development model, which is, you see how there's a bunch of different land masses? This landmass is going to be where the high density developments are located, right? Big cities. Look at that. 300,000 people, already 100,000 here. I haven't even filled out the map yet, right? This is going to be high density. Then over here and down here as well, I want to have medium density, which is where I'm going to do a lot of planning with pedestrian malls, pedestrian walkways as the main thoroughfare. Well, not the main like big thoroughfares. Those are still going to be roads, but there's going to be like a super block connected with these pedestrian paths. So the car usage in these cities should be even more minimal than in these cities. and these cities are already quite walkable. But right now, since this is all filled out, I think we should load into this making money tutorial de facto. Because it's like really heavily modded, sometimes the tutorials don't exactly work. But the tutorials for SimCity, I think they do still work with the network add-on mod, even the Colossus add-on mod to a certain extent. They're designed to show you some like basic mechanics of the game, and I think they do a really good job of that. Oh, goodness. Back when I was in my mid-teenage years, I had a teacher that liked watching CNN. I'm not sure how to feel about that. I mean, it's only a few years ago. I think that's pretty brain rotted. I think, you know what? Yeah, I think liking CNN at any point in CNN's history, because CNN is only as recent as the 1990s. Like that's how long CNN has been around, since the 90s. My dad was working in politics when CNN was created, which is crazy. Fresh out of college. Cost 40 euros to get a FNAF stream? Sure does. Also, I wanted to make a note quickly about the Pokemon Smasher Pass. The follow goal for Pokemon Smasher Pass is for the vanilla regular Pokedex. However many Pokemon are in the Pokedex at the time I hit the follow goal, that's what I'll be doing for the Smasher Pass. The whole Pokedex, all just the original designs, but there is something else that I want to do as part of another thing that's not going to be a follow goal, which is a Pokemusu Smasher Pass. Will it include the Omega Evolutions? Yes, because they are an integral part of the Pokedex, part of the gameplay, I will include alternate forms, Mega Evolutions, and so forth, right? All those I will include. But I wanted to, separate from that, at some point do a Pokemusu Smasher Pass, but I can't do it right now because I wanted it to be relatively spoiler-free. I've seen a lot of Kinky-Mation's stuff. I love Kinky-Mation. I think she's great. And I really like how she approaches her art. She draws the most delightfully romantically bisexual, like very, very horny art and stories out there, which I think are actually worth a read for all the, 18 plus viewers who I can be, socially within bounds to recommend that to. I think it's good reading. But she also did a Pokemusu project where she drew Monster Girl versions. Excuse me. Of a bunch of Pokemon. She did all 151 in Gen 1, and she did all 100 of them from Gen 2. Now, the reason I'm not doing either of those is because Kinky-Mation herself is not super proud of the Gen 1 stuff at the moment, which I actually totally understand as somebody who engages in an artistic craft sometimes. And she's currently redrawing those. So from the perspective of both wanting to go into like a fresh set and from the perspective of respecting like what she is most proud of as an artist, if I do Gen 1, I'm going to wait until she has a lot of the redesigns done. But for Gen 2, I've seen, frankly, an absurd amount of content regarding specifically Kinky-Mation's art on the Gen 2 Pokemon Monster Girls. So I think it's a little bit against the spirit of a Smasher Pass for me to go into that with having, like, knowing so much about that specific set of Pokemusu already, which Musu is just the Japanese term for Monster Girl. So like Pokemon Monster Girl, right? But she's currently working on Gen 3, I think, and Gen 1 or something like that. Whichever one of those gets done first, I will do as a smash or pass because part of the experience is reacting to the designs and commenting on what jumps out at you immediately from the designs, what you like and stuff. I think it could be fun. I think it could be a lot of fun. And you could probably tell by the kinds of buildings I have. This is a absolutely modded to shit version of well, not modded to shit, modded to like big city type shit version of SimCity. Bit of advice: never click on these. These are if I zoom in, there's a lot of like real world businesses that got added. This is a Century movie theater. And if you click on this, the fucking THX like sound test plays. I will not demonstrate that unless I hit it by accident later. But you can also see, I don't know if there are any other ones of these left. There are some other businesses. Yeah, Pizza. That's a real business in real life that you can go have pizza at. A lot of the other ones are like retail. They might have zoned up by this point. Like if I look, oh, this is a real one. That's a Marriott there. First time I'm hearing about this franchise. I would highly recommend if you go watch. God, this is how I discovered like the subgenre of like down bad bisexual VTubers, which I am enjoying the fuck out of. There have been some really good reacts to Kinky Mation's Pokemusu collection Gen 2. Yeah, here's Marriott. That's a real thing in real life. I actually need to double check this real quick. Oh, that's a problem. One of the mods I have installed isn't quite, I think it's not quite working right, or it's like missing something, missing a dependency, where there's supposed to be these like Japanese style office buildings. Some of them are working. But some of them are these blank lots, still functional. Like if I click on this, you can see, well, I'll have to bulldoze those because they're not offering very many jobs. There's another one here that offers more jobs, I think. It's like still just a blank lot. I may not be able to find it, but yeah. Bunch of mods, bunch of new building styles as well. Mediterranean heritage being one of them, Japanese being another that I specifically added. That you will not find the Japanese building style in anybody else's SimCity game because I added it. I made it. It's surprisingly simple. You just have to add like a string of numbers, but I went into a SimCity editor, and for all of like the Japanese style buildings, I attached that number to them. So now, you see these buildings for a lot of them. There you go. You can see I click on this building and it says New York 1940 as the style down there. But for a Japanese building, let me see if I can find one. There's an Arby's. For a Japanese building, it'll actually say Japanese on it. See, this is another one of the ones that's not really working, but you can see down there, it says building style, Japanese. I do want, though, to see if I can find one that is working. My idea for these first two cities was to have like a Japan-New York hybrid style city, which would be very cool. Here's a residential building. Kitayama. There we go. Japanese style high income apartment building. Look at that. Look at that detail too. I love the buildings in SimCity. They look so cute. You can see New York style buildings are very Art Deco for the most part. Like these somewhat higher income buildings, very Art Deco. Very like early 20th century urbanist. But as we continue the development of the city here, you can see these zones there, and I'm going to click on the traffic view real quick to see where all people are going, where they are traveling. Takes a little while to load. Again, because my SimCity is kind of destroyed with mods. Yeah, you can see that I have a grid pattern for the most part, and I tried to lay things out on a super block kind of grid. This was one of the tutorial levels, so you'll see a bunch of funkiness down here. There are a lot of Pokemusu reactions. Yeah, there are. And to be honest, I find a lot of them to be very entertaining. Almost all of them smash or pass. Yeah, because that was kind of the intention, the sort of presentation. Uh, Kinkymation actually made a video presenting all of the designs, just kind of like a slideshow, basically, with music in the background. And she's like, and that's Gen 2. You know, I drew all the Pokemon Monster Girls and stuff. And that really lends itself really well to Smash or Pass. And of course, there's the YouTube phenomenon where one person does it who has a flamboyant and entertaining personality. It gets a bunch of views. Somebody else is like, oh, dang, my viewers would probably enjoy that. They do it. And now you have an entire explosion of Smash or Pass content. Unfortunately, I'm not a VTuber, but I am horny and bisexual. So hopefully I will clear those kind of those bars for a viewing audience when the next one drops. Um, yeah. So I'm gonna an unfortunate consequence of modding my game very heavily. It is somewhat unstable. But that was all of the like touring that I wanted to do. You were gonna what? I was going to do something before I was interrupted by the game crashing. No, I wanted to show off that block structure because I want to continue the city like that, I think. I'm gonna use different super block kind of layouts. I'm gonna for each city, I usually like to initially lay out like some main avenues and roads and railroads and stuff first, and then go in and be like, okay, the super block structure is going to look like this, and basically cut and paste that across the city, depending on like which quarter I'm building. So that's what we're going to do. We have roughly 2 quarters of the city built up in that neighboring city. And we're going to just go in and build some more super blocks. This time, I'm not going to have to deal with the absolute CBT of balancing a budget in the typical SimCity fashion, because that shit is difficult, really difficult. In fact, learning to build a city even without that was pretty difficult. So I want to show off a little bit of my skills insofar as I can. It's going to be more casual. Let's go back in. Also, it's unfortunate that there's not really a way to view this in game. Actually, no, wait, maybe there is. The menu screen there has a useful like residence to jobs ratio. You want to keep those numbers decently close. Certainly, like you definitely don't want to let the number of jobs in your city sink below maybe like 60% of residents or 70% even. Otherwise you're going to have like unemployment problems where people can't find work. But the main mods I'm using are the ones that change gameplay anyways, are the network add-on mod and the Colossus add-on mod, as usual. Remember, the system likes to make people unemployed so people don't have working power. Yes, that is true. However, in SimCity, you are actually incentivized to try to promote full employment. It is actually, this is one of the ways in which the game is in some facet neoliberal, because the neoliberals love to delude themselves into thinking that they are pro full employment. But in this way, the game is also very not neoliberal, because it's like, no, you should actually do full employment, so let's have a look and see if let me also, what I like to do is, where is this? Here we go. Bring up this railroad plan. I drew up a less cluttered version of the railroad plan because the railroads are like heavy rail. Working class person have a game where you fight the working class. No, look, the When I say like you want to provide enough employment in your city, you're doing the opposite of what real life neoliberals do. You're trying to have enough jobs so that people can have work and support themselves. You're not trying to build a base of unemployed people who are desperate enough to work for low wages. That's not how this game works. In that way, it's actually anti-neoliberalism. But yeah, this is the general plan for like the heavy rail network. So what I want to do, I think I might want to have like at least 2 road connections up here to the next tile. So what I did here was a 6 unit by 6 unit block. For the most part where I could. Or you know what? I think the first thing I need to do is let's drag this over this way. And then this should probably meet right about there, right? Just to finish off that super block, nice and square. Pull a Switzerland, just make a road through the mountain. You can do that. The game will, the grading in this game is very, very generous, very lenient, which is not very true to life. But if there is something too steep, let me see if I can make it happen. Nope, didn't happen there. I think maybe if I do it over here, it'll happen. If there is grading that's like too steep for a road, it will build a tunnel. Let me see if I can get it to happen here. No, not quite. Maybe like, nope. Oh, there we go. You see that green? If I were to plop this down as is, there would be those 2 little bits of road on the end, and then the rest of it would be a tunnel. Does it cost more to make a tunnel? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's have a look. This is about 1,300, right? Yes, it does, by about a factor of 2. Those are roughly similar road lengths there. So yeah, it is actually more expensive to make a tunnel like that. I think I want the super blocks here to be a little bit longer if possible. So instead of 6 by 6, maybe do like 6 by 10 or 6 by 9. Do love driving through a tunnel. Tunnels are very fun. My family and I have gone on road trips before. Netherlands has a being flat issue. Hey, being flat doesn't mean you can't have tunnels. The U.S. East Coast is very flat, and there's plenty of tunnels there. That's part of how you cross rivers. On the way to the Outer Banks, I think there's a certain point. There are some points like crossing the what is it? It's like the Currituck Sound or something, where there's like a bridge that transitions into a tunnel and then back into a bridge, right? And it's a long tunnel. I actually had some practice holding my breath because the tunnel's like that. You know, as a kid, it was really fun to like play the game where you hold your breath for as long as you can in the tunnel. I actually made it all the way through. It was like a 2-minute tunnel, which is crazy. Ooh, what's this building? This is interesting. It's got a heliport. Also, this building's fucking huge and provides almost 4,000 jobs. Whenever I get one of those buildings, it's like neuron activation. Only if we had tunnels more than 2 minutes. Look, that is one of the longest tunnels you will ever find, probably in the world. You know, like top 10 or even 5 or 1% of the length of road tunnels, except what? The fucking tube from the UK to France or something? Anyways. Let's start with this. So we'll go 3, 6, 9, 10. Let's see how this looks. And I'm going to actually redo that. Right? Go 3, 6, 9, and then again. And then 3, 6, 9. There we go. And then that's the edge of this super block. Right? let me see how that shapes up more or less. I think that's okay. That's an okay size for a super block. Random Discord notification. Oh, it's Voosh. I see. Well, I got better things to do than watch the world fall apart. Because we already knew that. We already knew that the world is fucking dying or something. We have a tunnel in the province of Zealand, which takes 6 or 7 minutes. That's a pretty long tunnel. Do I want this to do like the access road thing where you sort of pull it up like that? I could. I don't think I want to though. No, I think I want to have like maybe a little bit more organic of a shape here. So I'm going to do something like this. Oops. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is going to be a little commercial block there. But I am going to pull this to over here. Been playing some Devil May Cry 5 recently. Nice. Hope you're having fun with that. I've heard many things about the Devil May Cry series, not the least of which that the protagonist, Dante, is based off of Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil, which is awesome, in my opinion. Okay, so these blocks, this block is going to be a little bit stubbier. Mod on PC, I can play any level with any character. That's always fun. Top 10 tunnels all take 10 plus minutes. One in Norway takes 20 minutes. That's top 10, not necessarily top 1% of tunnels. You want to do something like this, right? All the characters in the game were super powerful, emotionally damaged adults. Bro, that's the fucking best genre of adults in video games. I think I could get away with doing something like that. You have this little steeped thing there. Okay. Let me see now where this road would end up and if there's like opportunity for another thing. One character commits mass murder because they don't want anyone to even have the possibility of hurting them. Hey, that's fucking Omni-Man from the hit animated series Invincible. It says still, as human that I am can never get enough of driving through a tunnel. Yeah, driving through tunnels is fun. It's all around 5 minutes. I see. I see. Yeah, tunnels that take like an hour. It's a sweet spot of time. What, like 5 to 10 minutes? I believe that. I think that's pretty agreeable. See, you do something like that, then this will just go here. I want long tunnels. True. Something long shaft something. I think I want this to come over this way a little bit. Secret tunnel. That's true. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna pull this road up here like that, and then I'm gonna have this do something like that. There we go. I think I like that. And then what I'm gonna do is something like this. Here we go. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay. So this is going to be a neighbor connection. I'm going to connect that up. Then same with this. There we go. Okay. So got a couple connections up there. This is going to come down here. Like, so that's going to be an ugly ass intersection. Okay. I'm going to figure this out. Might crush a squirrel. That's true. Hey, there are animals in this game. Look at that. Moose. I think I need a roundabout here. So check this out. Roundabouts are great, by the way, because they make cars go slower. So we're going to try to center it around this tile. Oops. I think did I put that a little too early? I might have. Yeah. Okay, so that doesn't want to be there. That wants to be here. Do something like this. Oh, come on. Get that out of here. Like watching Vosh's media takes where he argues with chat. Yeah, those are fun. I do like those segments. Then you just do, oh. Okay. Let's try this again. You good? You good? Okay, I don't know why it was so finicky with that. There we go. Got a little roundabout. When chat was sympathizing with Wanda from Marvel. Yes, I do remember that. And he was right, too. It's really funny. Right or wrong, it's always funny to see a streamer argue about, like, media takes and stuff. Because a lot of people, I think it's, like, super important because of the, like, low-key because of the death of media literacy. You know? Do something like this. Do something like this. There we go. And I want to do that. That's going to be tumultuous enough on its own. I think I'll just probably put a bus stop up there and call it a day. Yeah, like she enslaved and brainwashed a whole fucking town. Like, that's fucked up. You can't just do that. You know what? Fucking never mind. Never mind. Who doesn't want to be a slave of Wanda? Easy argument, easy comeback. You drive a hard bargain. What can I say? You know, Elizabeth Olsen can, in fact, get it. She can do fucking unspeakable things to me if she so pleases. Can I do this? I can. Interesting. That's good. I think I like the way that looks. I find it funny when some stories want a character to die, but they don't want the main character to do it. So the environment will just so happen to kill them. I know what you're saying, but I don't know. I'm trying to remember what kind of media I've seen that like does that. I don't know how familiar I am particularly with that trope. Is the thing. Replace the two with we for some stupid reason. Yeah, I managed to piece that together. All right. Does this still make it over there? No, so I'll just do this. There we go. Good enough. This doesn't serve any purpose. This little nub here, so that can go. I'm probably gonna fill in all of these super blocks with streets, but I'm gonna take like one or two at a time. with respect to development. Sorry, wildlife, this is our property. Yeah, true. I am using a couple mods that makes densification much more feasible. But you are still incentivized to put like hella parks everywhere. Like there's a bunch of trees, there's a softball field. I like doing this thing where for every like amount of space that constitutes a small tile, which is I think a quarter-kilometer by quarter-kilometer area, I have a block that's just entirely dedicated to parks and greenery, right? See, like, look, you know, you have one of these. You've got a big old green park with a pond. You have a flower garden, a plaza, some sports areas, and a nice little woodland area. Yeah, and then here's another one. And then I think I actually have another one down here somewhere. Yes. So I'm due to have one more in my city, just so there can be enough like green space and recreation. And beyond just having those, there are also parks on every block in every, you know, see like there's a nice plaza here. There's some oh, I actually did put a thing there. I guess this one's gonna have 5 instead of 4. You know, there's a little line of trees dividing the industry from the commercial. There's some little plazas and flower gardens and greenery, and I think there's some community gardens. They're real like low to the ground though, so I have a hard time like picking them out from above. But yeah, that tower next to the valley is huge. What, this one? Yeah, you in default SimCity, you actually can't get buildings this big. This is the Colossus add-on mod. See, normally stages only go up to 8, but this is stage 9. You know, same here, stage 9. I also really like that they've added super big buildings for commercial services and not just commercial offices, because it's always like, it gets on my nerves a little bit that commercial services buildings don't offer that many jobs. It's like, there's a lot of people that work in retail and services. This is a little bit bigger, but it's still fine as far as block sizes go. Why are they paranoid? Someone's gonna make the Twin Towers. No, it just wasn't how the original game was coded. Game came out in 2003, and there was like building stages 1 through 8. Let me see if I can find something at stage 8. Well, here's something that's stage 6. See, you can get buildings that are pretty big. This is stage 7. This is a modded building, but stage 7, so you could see buildings of about this size. This is stage 7. What about this one? Stage 9, so you can't see buildings like that. This is stage 7. I don't know if I have any buildings that are exactly stage 8. Here's one. Again, modded building. But yeah, you can get buildings of about this size or comparable size that are stage 8. Because that's meant to be the biggest possible size in the base game. But this is bigger. And people were like, what if we made cities bigger? And that became a gameplay mod. It also actually affects how fast things develop. So. Yeah, that's probably fine. Trump logo on a building? You mean the Kennedy Center? A building. Yes, I did hear about the Kennedy Center potentially getting rid of / having to get rid of the Trump logo. And Trump was like, don't do that actually, because I'll fucking destroy the like his legal argument was, yeah, there is like real threat of harm to the Kennedy Center, in parentheses, I will destroy it if you take the name off of the building. Like, I'll fucking strip the funding from it, was his line there. Let's just do that. These blocks will be a little bit smaller. How can we hear the construction work while flying in space as the Holy Spirit that we're playing as? Oh man, if you think that's loud, you better hope I never click on that movie theater. It's a little something like this. Or Will I? I may want to continue this block structure down here, although maybe I'll do a different one. We'll see. We'll see. So funny to watch new liberals try every single possibility to deny that the system is corrupt. Neoliberals. Yeah, the like, no, guys, the system is fine. Don't worry about it. It's just a coincidence that the fucking everything leads to financialization and the ruin of the fucking economic base or something. Type shit. That's a real narrow block, but I think it's fine. Holy Minecraft town. Look, you joke, but this is actually like good city planning in real life. Remember when we were looking at Philadelphia and Chicago, the real cities in America with good urban planning, they kind of look like that, you know, where they have larger blocks and then divided up by smaller streets so that they're more easily traversable. A lot of European cities are very old, so have a much more organic looking layout. But for, you know, what Europeans would call new builds, this is actually a really good way to lay them out. 100% straight. Everywhere is boring. No, it is not. Remember when we looked at Barcelona? I challenge you to go to Barcelona and call it boring. And besides, if I take a look at the traffic patterns here, you know, SimCity has struggles with diagonal zoning, so you do have to use rectilinear shapes. You can never get lost. I want to get lost in my city. Sure you can. Look at how weird the block structure gets. I'm not using the same shape of super blocks here as here. And here I'm going to use a different shape of super block. It is very possible, if you're one of the Sims, it is very possible to get lost in this city, you know? But it's also just as possible for you to reorient yourself and find out where you are. You know, here you have each block is 6 by 6. Here, each block is 6 by 9, roughly. And then down here, I intend to do a similar thing, but instead of the blocks being oriented horizontally, they'll be oriented vertically. You can get lost in the queer sauce in this city. These folks are straight, they'll get lost in the straight lines. Look, I don't understand why you are like so against straight lines being used as a sort of grid pattern in a city. Grids are like the city planning layout. That it's like basic, effective, efficient, leads to good street life, leads to vibrant city culture. And like, if you don't know the city, you'll get lost in the city. You know? That's just how living in a city works. America has been traumatized. Look, this isn't even a like been traumatized by fucking city planning thing. No, building a grid like this is just good city planning. Like if you look at old European settlements, I mean older than the cities that they grew into. Massalia, Lat in the south of France, these ancient Mediterranean towns that were settled by Greek settlers back in the day. And by back in the day, I mean 5,000 to 6,000 years ago, maybe more on the lines of like 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. They were laid out like this. Seriously, if you look at the archaeological maps of excavations of those settlements, they started out with a pattern like this. How do you think they got the organic layout? Because you start with like the old town. Let's say there's like a central area that has a grid pattern to it. And then each expansion has a different grid pattern. So you get a bunch of tiny grids that are all internally consistent, but then like misaligned with each other. And that's how you get a very organic looking city. Or, you know, grids that, you know, have to conform to the topography. So they can't exactly be rectangular. They have to wind a little bit. But ultimately, they still form like a thing reminiscent of a grid. That's just how cities look. You know, what cities don't look like is fucking... Remember when we were looking at Atlanta and Columbia? That's what cities don't look like. The grid is good. It's the imperfections in life that make it perfect. Yes, and your insistence that grids are a perfect shape. Look at this. Did you not see me drawing these grids and be like, this doesn't exactly match up, so I'll do some trickery here, and blah, 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 and like, oh, wow, every single block isn't exactly 6 units by 9 units. There is imperfection in a grid system. It's just good to have a baseline shape that you're designing a city with. Like, you can talk to any urban planner and they will say, yeah, a grid is like a known quantity. It's a good way to lay out a city design. What matters most is what you're putting in these tiles. Don't make like towns that we saw in that stream was horrible, but I love my curves. That's the problem. I'm serious. That's part of the problem. Roads are curvy in Europe because they had to be. In America, roads are curvy because they fucking felt like it, because they didn't want you to see another human being. Look, you think I'm gonna like take a look at the way that this city looks, right? Look at that. Apartments, shops, offices, all right next to each other. Oh, you work in the industrial district? No problem. There's bus stations everywhere. Hop on the bus, go to the industrial district, you're there. Look, are you looking at this and thinking, oh, this is going to be so drastically different from the fucking way I've been planning cities this entire time? This isn't that backrooms experiment where I'm using entirely low density. Look. Oh, wow, look at that. There's like shops over here and retail right next to this apartment, right next to this school. Not too far from the fucking movie theaters. And a giant parking garage for some reason. We let it slide because this is actually like a commercial building that offers employment and like jobs. Like fucking somehow 800 people work here. Sure, I guess. We let it slide. But let's go one block at a time, or one super block at a time, or thereabouts. I think I'll fill in these two first. Yeah. Let's get a subway station. Give me European corner to get lost in forever till I die. Later. This is an American, Japanese looking city right now. Look, you will learn that there is good American city planning. You will appreciate the good American city planning, and you will learn the thing that is bad about American city planning is not that it's American. You think Europe is immune from the urban planning problems that America has? Nuh-uh. There are plenty of new builds that are just fucking suburbs in Europe. You are not immune to propaganda type shit. Okay, probably put a subway up here. And then I think this is close enough to that I don't really want to have subway like here. That'd be a little too close. Yeah. Up there would be a little too close too. Okay, I guess we're just gonna do one subway station for this. And then, oh, actually, there is something I did want to do as well. Since the not European, the neighboring city on the other side of this is actually done, I wanted to go see how many subway stops there are like on the edge that connects to this, so I can like connect them up. This is supposed to be like one metropole. Here we go. And then this is supposed to, I'll bring that down there, but I'm not gonna have a subway station here, just to have it like nice and connected. Here we go. And I've been using the red bus stop, so I will continue doing so. Put one here, one here. Cool. I put a lot of bus stops in my city. A European corner will have the worst scores the citizens could vote on how horrible the living experience is. Don't grow yourself a victim complex. The only difference between a European corner in Europe and a like corner in this city is how the buildings look. That would be the only difference. The same principles of urban planning would be present throughout. You would be fine. If you went to Philadelphia or New York, you would be fine. You'd feel right at home, you know? Like New York, you could probably go to New York and find a fucking Dutch community in New York and just speak Dutch in the Dutch, not even have to speak English. Okay, that's it for transportation. I want to see how many recycling centers and trash disposals I have. Let's see, one, two, three, and then four of those. Could probably stand to add another recycling center. We'll have to surround it with like greenery and stuff so that it doesn't piss off the people that live next to the recycling building. Or have enough protests out there against immigration centers. That's probably true. That's probably true. Well, in New York and Philly, the reason that there aren't a lot of protests in America is because a lot of America is just suburban hell. In the cities like Philly and New York, people are actually very politically active. In fact, New York might be the most politically active city in America. So if you were going to see protests anywhere, it would probably be New York. And as well, remember how captured American media is? You're not likely to see protests being reported on the news when they do happen. You know, fuck, the news is barely reporting on the fact that America is out of oil. I didn't get a chance to mention that yet. America's almost out of oil, like completely out. We're hitting what's called operational stress levels, where we're scraping the petroleum scum at the bottom of the barrel. And news outlets are like barely making a mention of it and saying, like, I don't know, the strait's gonna have to open pretty soon. Otherwise, things are gonna get a little bit bothersome. And it's like the fucking collapse of the fuel economy happening around them. You know, I promise you, any interaction with ground level culture in America where it is present, i.e., New York and Philly, will leave you pleasantly surprised if you form your opinions on the US based on what you see reported by our news. Just like a few hundred and going the same violent protests over and over again, fucking everywhere. What violent protests? What violent protests? Seriously, I ask you, what violent protests? You have any fucking idea? If anything, it's problematic how non-violent protests are in the United States because they're so like pacifistic as to be those are way too big. As to be toothless. My friend, you are not immune to propaganda. You have bought into conservative framing of protests in America. Oh, they don't happen, and when they do, they're violent. No, they're fucking not. Jesus. You know? And sure, protests will be formed of like, there will be recurring people at protests because those people live in New York City, like using New York as the example. It's like, yeah, those people fucking live in New York. They live in the area. Obviously, if they're politically active, they're going to be doing more than one thing. It's like, you know, if you take phone banking, it's like you'd be surprised that I do multiple phone banks. Like what? Immigration system ain't the same over there in New York as it'll be over here. That's true. The immigration, like New York, is significantly more progressive when it comes to how it prioritizes certain immigration issues. That is definitely true. Am I gonna need any more like essential services? Yeah, over here I'm gonna need a fire station, but right now this is within range of the previous one, so we're probably fine. How's about this? No, that's fine. Education. Um, we're actually fine with regards to education too. Oh, I have a couple rewards that like don't neatly fit in the structure of these blocks, so I'll have to put those down at some point. Or I'll want to at the very least. Let's go to the entertainment tab. There we go. Minor league stadium. Oh wait, this might actually. Oh no, it just barely doesn't fit. Barely doesn't fit. You know what? I could fatten this block just a tiny bit to make the stadium fit right there. Let's do that. There we go. Now, if I go back to entertainment. There we go. Nice stadium. You can watch a soccer match. Look at that. It's kind of on the edge of where the city's been developed to, but eventually this is going to be surrounded by like apartments and offices and commercial services and stuff. God, I really hope they reactivate that mixed use zone type. That's going to be amazing. What else? I think I had something else unlocked in like the entertainment tab. Nope, sure didn't. I think I placed down the radio station already. Talking about immigration. Well, we were talking about cities, and it moved gradually to that. So, but we good. We good. Obviously, there's like no bad blood or nothing, because you know. What else was I gonna do? Oh yeah, cemetery. I don't think I want to place this here. I might want to place it more like up here. So I'll hold off on that. Maybe the house of worship can go somewhere over here. There we go. And ooh, courthouse, courthouse. Here's the Metropolis Hall. Maybe the courthouse can go somewhere along the main avenue. Least bad blood ever. That's probably true. Probably, you know, allegedly. Is this? Oh, this is 3x3, so it doesn't like matter which way it's facing. It's going to take up the same amount of space. Okay, let's put you right there. Weirdly structured rows with the closed, comfortable feeling it gives, despite all the many flaws such a city has. Maybe it's just the style of building, perhaps, but I don't know. That's fair. I've been to Old Town Tangier. I know what you're talking about. You know, but I've also been to Pittsburgh, and I really like the way that at least downtown Pittsburgh felt. I could be slightly misremembering, but like narrow streets in America are really nice, especially because like the geometric shapes that American cities are planned off of. Like it's easy to get lost, but it's not so easy that you become claustrophobic. Claustrophobia is definitely a consideration when making cities like that. When you're trying to make a very dense city, you know. But, you know, that's not an excuse to fucking make massive street. Like, this is actually a very small street for, you know, for a city street. Like, you can see that's the size of one car. And this is a main thoroughfare. Did I have any more reward buildings? No. This is a modded building that I don't usually want to put down because it functions like a private school, and I fucking hate private schools. Oh, health. Let me take a look at that. Do I have a big hospital? Yes, I do. Okay, that's good. I think now I can start laying down a little bit of the commercial developments. Yeah, one of these blocks. I think maybe I don't put this cemetery here. Maybe I put it like here. Maybe up north this could be like industrial areas, unless. Hold on, let me try something. Okay, I guess the game decided no. Again. I wanted to see if I could put a beach down there. Friend of mine, is claustrophobia and acrophobia, which I learned when I want to take the lift with her. Oh no! Oh no! You try what now? Yeah, the game didn't fucking let me finish type shit. No, I wanted to try putting down a beach. In the parks menu, you can select several different kinds of parks. One of them is a beach, like a beachfront. And I want to do that because that might be fun. But I don't think I'm going to put it there yet because I'm just developing a couple blocks first. So it's going to take forever to load again. You know, there is actually there's one bit of beach in the south. If you can believe it, there's like a beach town in the south that I've been to that's actually really nice and walkable. Um, if we ever do Google Earth surfing again, like just going through Google Earth, I want to show that off sometime because I remember being there. There's a bunch of little restaurants and cute little like surf shops, novelty shops. It's like there's genuine like downtown life there. It's a little bit more touristy, but you know, you have like these shops right next to houses where people live. It's not super dense, but it's like, oh, this is actually super nice. It's kind of like a nice departure from just suburb bullshit. In fucking North Carolina of all places, which is Bible Belt territory. Looking here, it looks like it saved most of what I did, except for maybe the courthouse, but that's, you know, easy enough to just put that back down. So I don't. Truth be told, though, I don't know why SimCity crashes like that. I think it has something to do with you like trying to open a menu or zoom in or out at a time when the game is like having a rough time already. Yeah, okay. I do need to put the courthouse back here. Then I wanted to shut up. Shut up, random advisor. I wanted to see if the beach would fit. There we go. Can I do this? No, I didn't leave enough space there. Games like give me a break. Yeah, basically that's kind of what would be happening there. If I bulldoze this street, I wonder if I could get that to fit. No, it's just a little too diagonal for me to fit a beach here. Dang, that's unfortunate. I don't particularly feel like terraforming because it destroy that shit. Okay. Now I've got all the reward buildings placed down that I wanted to, so I'm gonna start zoning. Gonna do something like this. Something like this. If you hold control, you can actually make it into a single lot instead of multiple, which is useful for instances like this when you have diagonal roads. Let's see here. There's still like a good amount of demand for commercial development, so random double click thing again. No, again. Yeah, I'm clicking and holding. I'm not letting go of click, and it just does that sometimes. There we go. Brother. Let's have these facing that way. And then actually want to do something like this. I like having the bigger lots facing the avenue, and then you do this so that you get a little bit more variability in the size of these kinds of lots. I'll come back to that in a minute. Need to do some more grading. Game autosave, that's good. I have autosave enabled just so that I don't ever lose like too much progress. The struggles of me having fucked up my mouse and not understanding how or why. Uh, Evidently. Oh, what is this? Okay, I see. I see. Let's do that, actually. You have a park for the animals. Um, no, there isn't a specific like dog park in this game, so I'm assuming to the extent that those exist, people are just taking their doggies to the regular park. I'm gonna leave some of these open for little plazas and stuff, which I think is fun. Here we go. Wait, actually, I think I want to do something like this. Actually, have a couple plazas here. Yeah. This is gonna be a thing. This is gonna be a thing too. There we go. Oh, wait, okay, it actually will let me do that now. Okay, so these are gonna be like plazas and gardens and stuff. I could probably do that for these as well because it's a little too steep. And then, okay, that's, oh, I missed out on this area. There we go. And then this here as well. There. Do the same thing here. This, that. And then now, I usually like to put in the parks before I start zoning residences and such. So these are going to be plazas. Same with these. And then these can be little gardens. I think that'd be fun. Here we go. Yeah, like an office park. This can be a different kind of plaza with trees. It'd take me a while. I have a shit ton of modded kinds of trees installed. Okay. Nice little 5-tree pattern there. And then back to double click when I didn't want it to. I just clicked once there. I swear I didn't click again, but it did that shit anyways. Well, anyways, that's probably fine. And then add some parks to this as well. 2 plazas here, and then a little garden behind it. Here we go. I'm gonna have to smooth that out at some point. Then put a bigger garden there. Probably want to do this super block first. Yeah. Let's put a big old plaza right there. Get some nice palm trees and stuff. That's nice. That's nice. Big flower garden right here. Let's get some sports ground. Everybody loves these sports. Gonna have basketball and skateboarding and tennis right there. A little sports complex, a little tiny sports complex for the block. Notably, commercial areas particularly like these flower gardens and these plazas. I think they also kind of like these World War II era gardens too, which is nice. Yeah, so let's add a couple of these. Here we go. That's nice. Here we go. Then I think this is the only one that I would really need to... Ooh, wait, I have an idea. We'll put a couple little plazas next to the bus stop, and then I'm going to add a playground. Look at that, medium playground. This is like very, very suboptimal because the parks actually have numbers attached to them in the game, but I don't care. Because like I've learned that if you're being optimal, trying to squeeze all of the point value possible out of each of the parks that you put down, you're kind of approaching it wrong. As long as you put enough parks, any kind of parks are going to be more or less sufficient, as long as you have a decent diversity of them to provide recreation and such for the people. Speaking of the people, more basketball. The people love basketball. Basketball here, that's not what I meant to do. Plaza here. There we go. Maybe a few more plazas. Sure. Again, thing I love to do whenever there's a church is I will put a basketball court next to the church as a nice dad reference. I don't know if his church actually had like a basketball court next to it when he was growing up, but they had a church basketball league, which I think is the coolest, funniest thing. It's like, yeah, welcome to the church where we're fucking balling. Church of Ball. Ball is life, etc. We'll have tennis and skateboarding here. We'll have like a little green park there, like picnic area. Perfect. You can imagine that there would be picnic tables at a park like that, even though I think the in-game parks usually look the same. Now, I think I might want to have like a couple, I'll put like ranger station there. Maybe there's like monitoring going on about like the wildlife that lives near this recycling area. I don't know. Some more trees, and then let's add another big old flower garden here, and I think that's about good. Oh, I forgot about this as well. Let's add a big old plaza here and call it a day. Nice. I think that's good. And then the rest of this can be filled in with apartments. And this is how you get around there not really being a mixed use zone type available in the game. Is that you build all the stuff real close to each other so that people can walk anywhere they please. There we go. Very nice. Actually, I kind of want to have people facing this street as much as I can. There we go. And with this. And then we're actually almost at the fun part, chat. We are almost at the fun part where you get to watch all the stuff grow. Try to flatten that out a little bit. Oh, that worked. And as it so happens, I actually only need to do this with one of the blocks over here. Oops. Did not mean to do that. Ooh, autosave. That's good. That's nice. Put these here. That's unfortunate. Gonna have to smooth that out later. Have to smooth that out. Ah, okay, random horse. Thank you for your input. Much appreciated, I suppose. I can't really do that. So I'll have a couple things to smooth out there. There we go. There we go. There we go. Very nice. Very nice. Something like this. Something like this. Cool. Almost got it. There we go. Streets are actually a very useful tool to smooth out the grading enough to put down zones and stuff in this game. Again, not how it works in real life. You'd have to be much more respectful of the topography. This is one respect in which city skylines, and Skylines 2 particularly, are more realistic, and I would say better for learning some precepts of urban planning, is that you do have to respect the geography a lot more in those games, which leads to more irregular looking city structures. But I think SimCity actually teaches you some more important concepts of how a city should be shaped, right? Like if it's on ideal terrain, City Skylines actually fails, right? Where SimCity succeeds. But on less than ideal terrain, you do want to learn how to plan around the topography. All right, let's watch some things grow. Save the game again. Double check real quick to make sure I have everything connected up via Metro. And I do. Okay. Now the fun part, chat. I hit the play button. No, I hate this bug. Damn it. Making a liar out of me. There we go. Ooh, look at that. Shut up, random advisor. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's see this district in particular developing. Yeah. Sims wish they had somewhere not to feed the animals. I'll put down the zoo in a minute. Ooh, big mayor statue. That could actually be fun to put down right now. Let me do that. Because that actually boosts commercial development in some areas. There we go. Right next to the plaza. I think that works nicely. Then this one. What kind of store is this? Food Lion, you will be spared. I have a soft spot for the Food Lion. The Food Lion shall stay. What are these? These are all... Oh, this is a Japanese style building. I don't want to get rid of that. That's like really fun. What about these? Decently big office buildings. Random guy with his head up his ass for no reason at all. Sure, game. Sure. SimTrust Bank. Piggly Wiggly. All right, say goodbye to Piggly Wiggly. Disturbingly appropriate that I'm putting a mayor statue next to the fucking police station, but here we go. All right, cool. The mayor statues aren't just cosmetic. Each of the reward buildings do have something that they do for your city. Mayor statues boost residential and commercial development in the vicinity. So it is worth the 3x3 tiles that they take up to get some extra development going. If they didn't do anything, I actually would not put them down. As the point can be made by the lack of functionality of, oh wow, look at that, of the fucking country club. The country club does summon more like high wealth people into your city because they want to be country club members. But it's stupid, and I hate country clubs, and they also take up hella space, so I never do that. Same with private schools. I hate private schools, and like it does the same thing that private schools do in real life, which is economically stratify your city. Um, even though it does provide education. So I just stick with public ed. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. And right on cue. Good green sought by Lynx leaders. Fuck you. Not building a country club. I don't think I've ever built a country club in an actual city that I built. Uh-oh, library. Library lost his books. City grows quick? Yeah, it does. What helps with how quick this city is growing is that there is a very well-developed city right next door. Cities in SimCity grow much quicker if there's a city next to them. So, you can't see it, but just over here, there's another city, of 300,000. So people are like, oh, wow, this city's super cool. I want to move into this city. So all these developments spring up quick. Also, keep in mind how quickly this timer is going, right? We're on year 57. And just like that, a month went by. That's an in-game month. So this is still a fast pace of development to be happening in a city like this, but, librarians fed up, books be gone again. Aha. There we go. Local branch library. Have some more books. Have 60,000 books. What's this one? Yeah, this is the one that doesn't, one of the ones that don't exactly work properly, but because they have a lot of jobs, they provide a lot of jobs, I kind of let it slide while I try to figure out a way to, get a solution. This is a building that does exist in the base game, but it's been edited for the sake of the Colossus add-on mod to be stage 9 instead of stage 8, I believe. Which speaks to the sort of comprehensive gameplay modifications that Cam puts in this game. This is stage 8. Oh, check it out. We have some Japanese-style buildings, too. Look at that. Like I said, these couple cities are supposed to be like New York and Japan, kind of, insofar as I can incorporate that. Ooh, this looks beautiful. See, this would be a mixed-use building, but the game doesn't really allow that. I really like the way that looks. We got some apartments building. We got some businesses building. Let me take a look at my abandoned buildings view. And, oh, hold on. We got an abandoned building down here. Let's see what's up. Okay. This happens sometimes. There are phenomena in the game of zone aggregation and deaggregation. I zoned this so that this zone is touching a road. So if it develops as one building, it's fine. But it developed as two buildings, one of which wasn't touching the road. So it was like, we can't do nothing. So I'm gonna save the game again. I want to try to make sure that this develops properly. It doesn't result in another abandonment. That's usually how I like to approach that. Big soccer field. Okay, that's good. And you can see that developing another part of the city can actually drive development elsewhere in the city as foot and road traffic patterns change, which is pretty cool. This is the guy that you're supposed to never listen to. Commuter airport, I don't know. There's space like down here. I don't know if I want to build that though. It provides a boost to commercial development. I guess I am like arguing myself into that a little bit. I'm not sure. We'll figure that out. Uh-oh. School needs more funding. Have the capacity for 10,000 students. Let's take a look at traffic too. Man, people are going everywhere. Also, this is a comprehensive traffic view. This is not car traffic. So this includes foot traffic, car, bus, anything that uses the road system would be included here. For train, you can go look at this. Wow, the hell of people are riding the passenger train. Look at that. Freight train. There's plenty of freight moving through. Sub and L train. People are using the subway network. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. That's unfortunate. There we go. Fix that power line connection that I accidentally broke with the roads. Now the ferry has power again. If there's ever water in the tile, I preemptively put down a ferry because I want there to be water transport. I haven't built any cities over that way yet, but it's just good to have when you do that. It's just one more means of transit, which is always nice. Look at all that. Isn't that cool? Uh-oh. The fucking thing happened again. Yeah. All right. Here we go. I'm going to babysit this to make sure it develops correctly. I probably should, right? Yeah. What's this? Simply Pets. That's a real brand. I really like the flavor mods that I have installed because it adds like real brands to the game. Oh, this shop is no bueno. So rezone that. Any more abandoned buildings? Hopefully not. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Okay. Babysit that. Make sure it builds correctly. Please. Okay, cool. Yeah, check that out. For the real world businesses we got. Obvious dick joke. At least I think it's pretty obvious. Famous footwear. I think that's a real brand as well. There's a Food Lion over here, right? Yeah, Food Lion is a real thing. I've been to a Food Lion before. That's a decent grocery store. Party City, that's real. Piggly Wiggly is real. PCP Papyrus is real as well. Oh, check that out. Another Tokyo building. Isn't that fun? No, this thing is happening again. Stop it. Bad. Don't do that. Bad. No. Timeout. You need to go to timeout. Did the fucking thing where it was building two buildings where one of them wouldn't have been connected to the road. Is this building okay? Oh, it's just got poor people there. You good, you good. It's fine. I mean, it's not actually fine. It's not actually fine, but game doesn't do a whole lot to allow you to address. Well, it does some things. You can add like more social services, but you know, it is what it is. Colonial Oaks. Wait, are the movie theaters gone? Thank heavens, I think the movie theaters are gone. I don't have to hear that loud ass fucking ear destroying note, hour-long note type shit. Cracker Barrel. That's kind of funny, not gonna lie. Let's see if more stuff develops here. Oh, there's an Arby's. Got some apartments. Oh, something is building. Oh, I think it's that parking garage thing. Yeah. What was that noise? Anybody else hear that? Sounded like a bonk almost. Big apartment tower. That's the sound of the Great Depression. Bonk. Yeah, somebody's body hitting the floor from the fucking top of the goddamn Chrysler building. This is a fake proletarian game. A true communist would play workers and resources Soviet Republic. That's big facts, Kayla the Furry. Also, welcome back. That is absolutely true. And I've been trying to, like, in my quest to basically gorge on city builder content, I've been looking for something that can help explain how workers and resources Soviet Republic works, or if you can like create walkable cities in that game, which you can, which is awesome. Imagine what the administration would do if internet did not exist. Maybe. Yeah, you can. Yeah. In fact, the game incentivizes it like pretty hard. I would just want to learn a little bit about how to play it. Ugh. Stock market. Nah, I ain't building that. I mean, I might, because it actually building a stock market building in this game stimulates the development of commercial buildings. So I might do it, but especially because when you're building a city in stock market, burn it. Yeah, like in real life, yes, absolutely. In this game, though, one of the problems I have when developing city, oh, this thing happened again, is that one of the issues that I frequently come across in this game is that whenever you build a city, you get into the later stages of development where it's like, oh, nice, you've got like these bigger office towers and stuff now. The game just kind of like for whatever reason, I outlined this in my critique of SimCity, the commercial development and like demand just kind of slows down, which is the opposite of what happens in real life. When cities grow real big and they're all hip and happening, more businesses want to do business and like build in your city. You know, that's like the opposite of how the game handles it. But it's hard coded that as you build your city larger, fewer people want to go there. You know, one of the very neoliberal things about this game that's very regrettable. And so as a result, in order to have a city where there's like thriving commercial activity and stuff, I always try to stimulate commercial development wherever it's possible for me to do so, which unfortunately includes me like building a stock market, right? Because again, these flavor buildings they don't do anything apart from that number, if that makes sense. Oh, that's cool. I'll leave that there. Every day you look more and more like the kind of butch lesbian that would hit me until I cry and then bully me for crying. It's actually cool lesbian stuff. Really? Oh man, thank you. That's kind of how I want to look. It's funny because I look like my mom and my grandma and my sister. But they are extremely not butch lesbians. But I am. Chad, I may be fucked. No. Look, listen, all right? If you're cooked, then I'm also cooked because I would really like to have a date with a butch lesbian who bullied me until I came or something. Or alternatively, I would like to be the butch lesbian that does that to my cute little girlfriend or something. 100% just look like my mom when she was 22. Same. There's like an old picture of my mom when she was like 30. I don't know. And she was holding me when I was a little kid. Um, and I was like, man, I look just like that. I think my face is a little bit less round, but yeah. I do look a lot like my mom. I dress like her too. Like her younger self, at least. Discovered the wonders of the vibrator over the peener. Vibes are expensive, so I haven't got one yet, but if that's the secret sauce, I may have to launch a super special secret investigation into the secret sauce, as it were. Type shit. Dude, look, I love that you have like I don't like when there are cities where this is the only type of architecture, but I do think it's really funny to have cities where you have these older Art Deco kind of buildings that have a lot more character to them, and then you have fucking rectangle. Very nice, great success. It's true. Oh, this became an urban grocery store. That's pretty cool. You know, I've actually been to an urban grocery store before, but only like once. Um, Despite the fact that I've been to a few different cities in America, the one time I've been to an urban grocery store was when I was in Morocco a few years ago. We went to Tangier and we were in Newtown, Tangier for a decent amount of the time. And we had to go get groceries. I think my mom had gotten sick. Poor baby. And so my dad and I went out to get groceries. And so we walked to this urban grocery store. It was like multi-story building. And in fact, the grocery store actually occupied more than one story in the building. And it was super interesting because it was like, oh, wow, this is just like a Western style grocery supermarket or something like that. But I had never been inside of one of those that occupied multiple floors of a building. And because it was a multi-story building where all of the floors weren't a grocery store, it was also a mixed-use development. Old Town Tangier was beautiful because it's a real fucking city. And New Town Tangier was also beautiful because it's a real fucking city. And it has like mixed-use developments and stuff. It's super gentrified, obviously, but I really liked it. The vibrations transmit, see how good the simulation. I don't know. I'm not an expert on how vibrations transmit through that. That's something you might want to like take to Reddit, be like, hey, how does this feel? And then they'll probably say like, I don't know, your mileage may vary, that type of shit. Um, then I'll fucking throw the Morgan Freeman truth nuke. I did trans the vibrations. That's good, I think. Whom amongst us would not trans the vibrations when given the opportunity? I think I need to have more industry. Industrial development is kind of limited to just over here, which obviously you want to have industry right on the railroad, right? Because they love to send their freight via railroad. It feels way too fucking empty, Loki. Well, I mean, half the city isn't even developed, right? You look at this half of the city, and it's like, wow, that's cool. But then you look at this half of the city, and it's like, oh, they didn't build it yet, right? Um, I'm trying to figure out where I want the industry to be. I guess since there's no beach, no beaches, no bitches, perhaps I could put the industry up here, up north. It's like if funding dried up. That's true, except I have 55 million money. I'm gonna see if I can put a beach in here somewhere, and then I might want to put the industry just north of that. Oh, right. I also have the zoo that I need to put somewhere. I think I have a university as well. Like I locked a university building. By virtue of hitting. Oh, I can. Oh, fun. Okay. So this is going to be a real skinny block. Gonna do something like that. Yeah, oh, that was an accident. There we go. And then we'll do something like this. Maybe something like that as well. Make that block a little bit bigger. There we go. Got a nice beach. So then these blocks can be industry. Maybe I'll put the cemetery here somewhere. Figure out where to put the zoo and stuff as well. You can probably go to like down here. I don't know. You know what I kind of want to do? I think this is going to be a park block, and I'll put the zoo right next to the park. Right? How big is the zoo again? How much space would it take? About that much. Okay. So I would need to do something like this. There we go. Which means also something like this. And then I'll just go fix that real quick. There we go. And then the zoo is going to be here. Boop. There we go. And then this block rather, is going to be reserved entirely for like parks and recreation. Yes. But first things first, I actually need to put in some subways. Yeah, okay, so I think these two super blocks up here are going to be industry, high-tech industry developments. And then I might still have to line this with commercial, but for the rest of this, I'm going to try to make it just industry. And then the rest of this will be like commercial and residential. And this will be a bunch of parks, this one block here. So at each major intersection, I usually like to have subway kind of like that. I'll put a subway here as well. And one there. And yeah, okay. Yes, yes, okay, I think that's quite good in terms of the subway system. Game takes a little while to load. It's gonna got a lot of shit. There we go. Now could be a good time to talk about like somebody last stream mentioned that like, oh yeah, so like the cops stopped somebody from giving somebody else like getting somebody else's Legos back or something like that, or like returning stolen Legos. Does anybody have like the details on that so I can like maybe share my thoughts on it real quick? Yeah, okay, that's fine. That looks good. Now that I've built those subways, actually, I think I want to go to the neighboring tile to see how many subway stops are. Let's see. Let me count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this eastern edge here. Now let's check out the western edge of the neighboring city. See, look, there's a city right here, which, oh, actually, I can't use all 5 of those. There's a city right here, which is why this city is developing so quickly. That's actually a really good tutorial tile to start a city. It's medium, which means it's not so small to be restrictive, but not so big that new players might find it overwhelming. And it's mostly flat, and it has water. So you get all like opportunities for all forms of transit, which is cool. So I'm looking at just the northernmost half of the city, I think, for the purposes of this. And oh, dude, people are hella using the subway. Look at this. Northern half of the city would just be 2, I think. I think that's actually all I can get away with. See here, if I do, well, yeah. Yeah, no, I think that is, but I think what I want to do is actually go back to the, uh, no, I mean, I'm here right now, so I'll initiate the connections from this city going west, then I'll figure out how to do that other shit. Also, random lonely commercial building. What's going on there? Here, I am actually going to rezone you like that. See if that does something for me. Yeah. What was this? Lego police clash. Police misconduct in this. Well, I mean, police misconduct is kind of implied by police involvement, but like, what do they do? Like, I'm interested in the particulars. Meeting ended without the city announcing an independent investigation into the police department. Of course it did, because we're fucking pussies. One council member defended local police, saying his own family had been, quote, targeted in the past week. What a fucking snowflake. Somebody saying like, oh yeah, can't believe a city council person is receiving feedback from the city. That's crazy. Nobody can believe this. Yeah, okay, those are the only 2 connections that I can really feasibly manage there. Let's do that. This one's actually much closer to another one. There we go. Now those cities are both connected. Is this okay? This line is just getting no usage for some reason. Don't know why. But sure, whatever. There we go. That seems fine, I think. Underground mode. What is the... fucking... Conflict between a YouTuber and a bricks and minifigs executive over a Lego collection worth $200,000 has garnered public attention. Has led to accusations of misconduct being levied at the American Fork Police Department. Okay. What's the nature of the... like, what did they do? Purportedly stolen Legos. Okay, let me take a look at this before I build more of this city. Garner public attention is led to... okay. AFPD publicly released information and footage related to case in an effort to be transparent. That's not why they released that. Thank you for gargling police cock and balls. Saga goes back to a case in Oregon wherein a man claims he entered into a consignment between a Bricks and Minifigs franchise for his and his father's Lego collection, reportedly worth $200,000. According to the lawsuit filed by Bricks and Minifigs, the franchisee breached the terms of their agreement, and the corporate franchisor sold the store to another franchisee. At that point, the man asked for his property back, and the franchisee told him they were not party to the consignment agreement and that they did not have his collection. Ben Schneider, aka Reckless Ben on YouTube, got involved making videos about the situation on the man's behalf, accusing the Bricks and Minifigs franchise of stealing. Yeah, and he's correct. Fucking yeah, we'll sell you this collection for 200K. The fucking corporate is like, yoink, we don't actually owe you the 200K because we kicked this other like legally distinct party out of the arrangement. So that's just, we just have that now. It's like, what the fuck? These guys are unambiguously legally in the right, and I'm guessing the police were like harassing them or something. Yeah. Example number 300 billion of the police fucking being bastards, etc., etc. Average police activity, I suppose. It's easy to see why people are getting really animated about that, though. Terrain too steep. I can fix that. Probably put there. What? Terrain too steep? I can never really tell when terrain is too steep or not for a little bus stop. But okay. All right. So we're gonna have bus stops all over the terrain too steep again. Many such cases, I guess. I just fucked up the terrain even more, but sure. Let's put a bus stop right next to the beach. People can take the bus to the beach. Isn't that fun? Yeah, I think that'd be all right to do that. Mm-hmm. 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 Also, I might have talked about this on stream before, but I actually had an idea for like erotic audio of like somebody who's a huge urbanism nerd, and they do dirty talk but about like urbanism. And I thought it'd be funny and also like really hot and entertaining as well. And it legitimately, like, you know, sometimes I think about some other projects that I want to do. And that comes to mind on occasion, you know? I think I do want to, because of how much I talk about sexuality, because of how relevant sexuality is to basically everything else in the social fabric. And because of how much I enjoy personally engaging with it, um, on an academic and just recreational level, I think it'd be fun to branch out into that type of content and, you know, be horny for the Pokemon monster girls every now and again. I'm going to put some power lines through here because I'm not going to develop all these blocks all at once. I'm going to kind of stagger it a little bit. Here we go. Here we go. And I think I think, okay. That has power. That has power. That has power. Okay, good. So first things first, industry up here, right? And I think I'm actually going to forego having commercial on those roads because there's going to be plenty of commercial on these roads and this avenue. So right now the priority is making sure that there is enough industry for people to, you know, not be getting all too big for the britches, asking for manufacturing jobs and such. I mean, not actually manufacturing. They want high-tech industry, but you know what I mean. Okay. That's a good amount of industry. Let me real quick try to steady the terrain a little bit, just enough to zone this in. Because once something is zoned, it doesn't actually matter how steep it is. Things will build on it. Or rather, sometimes it does still matter, but the game is very picky and selective about when the steepness of the terrain matters for whether things will build on already zoned land. So, but that looks fine. And then also, I'm gonna look at how many recycling facilities I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is good for 107,000. No, 108,000 people. So I will need 4 more, most likely. Let's have a little concentration of them, maybe over here. Do something like that. And then likewise have to have a bunch of like garbage disposal lots here. This is like better than the way the default game handles garbage disposal, I think. So you have to dedicate a shit ton of space to like landfill zoning in the default game, which is just not fun. Doesn't make for good gameplay. So I use a little bit of a cheat mod. Caught. She's cheating. Mods. Torsion her testicles. You fool. I'm actually into that type shit. Just have a few of these located around. And then because I have a bunch of those, I also will probably need some of these as well. Let's put one here. I'll put one here. I'll put one here. Right? That should be okay, I think. Let me check air pollution. Nothing too problematic going on. Nothing too bad. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Okay, so we've got the industry laid out. Now, I am going to probably lay down some reward buildings. For example, the stock exchange will go next to the zoo because this is these are also animals and so forth. You will go here, actually here, there. Very good. Stock market next to the zoo. I think that's appropriate for what the stock market is. And my game crashed. That's why I don't. I try not to scroll at like zoom out more than one tick at a time. Sometimes that happens. Ugh. Annoying. But I think the game auto-saved not too long before. And even if I lose a decent amount of progress on like zoning the industry, I did I did do it, which means I have in mind like what I want to do with it anyways if I have to do it again. And just to be clear, this is not going to be an entirely on-stream thing. I am going to be playing SimCity off-stream because this game is fun and I like it. But I'll show it on stream occasionally too. What I also want to do, I might share actually a little bit of my regional planning. I intended to use my usual development pattern for the high density areas, and then for the low and middle density, what I wanted to do is have mostly walkways, pedestrian, like tiles and stuff, and then instead of subway, have a ground light rail to make it feel more like a European city. Yeah, it might be the case that I have to place down all that industry again. You know, that actually gives me an idea. I've kind of wanted to for a little while test the game to see if like if I reach a stopping point, kind of want to test to see if I can make it crash by doing the thing that I think makes it crash. That'd be kind of funny. God, this is taking a while to load. Is it actually loading? It is. It's using CPU. Okay, good, 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 good. Oh yeah, okay. Can erase all my progress. Jesus. All right, shut the fuck up, random advisors. No. I do kind of want to build that municipal airport. I think that might be cool. Stock market there. Industry up here. Here. There. Okay. Let's go through the whole rigmarole again. Okay, that's a little different. Nonetheless. Ah! Ugh, I hate when it does it. Here we go. A little bit annoying, but not a huge deal ultimately. No! Wrong. Just facing the wrong way. Why did it do that? Okay. Let's fill that in behind it. There we go. Then same with these. Here we go. We're gonna add some of this. I have 3 of these. We'll go 1, we'll go 2, and we'll go 3. Right? Okay. And now save, since that's some good progress. Let's now figure out, I'm gonna put the cemetery somewhere here, I think. Yeah, you're gonna go right around here, I think. Here we go. So I think I want to develop first thing these 2 blocks, or these 2 super blocks, most likely. I really like what I did with that roundabout. In fact, I think that is a perfect place for a little plaza. With a little statue or something like that. Yeah, that's good. And since I'm planning this new area here, I am going to need a fire station. Fire hazard. Okay, I can kind of see the red line there. Redlining mentioned type shit. If I put this in the right place, I could probably get away with just having 2 fire stations. Because for whatever reason, having a fire station also acts like having proper fire regulations, like fire safety. So if everything's in the coverage range of a fire station, nothing actually ever catches on fire, which is not terribly realistic, but you know, we take those. So yeah, I guess I'll put it right here. There we go. Now let's take a look at education. Okay, they're gonna need another school over here. Not a high school though, just an elementary school. Right? I think if I hover over this. Yeah, this goes all okay. I legitimately only maybe need a high school down here someplace. But even then, probably not. How does this look? You're gonna need a school like here? Something? Probably get away with a school like there. Don't want to put it right next to the cemetery, but I'd have to put it a little bit close in order to get the coverage that I want. Let's put it here. Right? Maybe? I'll put it there. And then just have one like elementary school, high school that covers that little area. Um, university. We want to put down a university. Yes, we do. And I'm gonna put this somewhere along the super block, like along this avenue. I think. Yeah, I think here would be it. I'll leave a little bit of room there. There we go. Okay, that's rough, but we'll figure that out later. Um, Another thing I really like doing is always putting a library next to each elementary school. Not even necessarily the high school, but the elementary school. So, library. What fun. You could probably have less of a student capacity to start. Okay. I think health is still fine, right? Like I have that big ass hospital that covers literally the whole area, so yeah. About crime, is anybody robbing grandma? No, they are not. That's good. Okay, that covers all the essential services. Oh, I need to see how my water infrastructure is holding up. I think it's behind one of these buildings. Let me turn this a little bit. 32%. Okay, I could benefit from having another. I think it'd probably be a good idea to have another water plant somewhere in here. So I will do that. Not in the industrial area, but like next to it. Maybe out here. I'll put some parks around it so it's not like directly touching the residential zones. There we go. Yep, got all those pipes connecting everything. There's demand for everything except for low wealth commercial services and medium wealth commercial offices. And even then, I expect a lot of commercial offices to build all the same. Because it doesn't do that forever. There we go. We'll put some trees here. Sure, oak trees. Let's have some nice oak trees right here. Bear. Hello. All right. One of my favorite things in this game is that the animals, like, when you zone something or like you place something, the animals just dip. They're like the guy from the fucking meme where they just disappear. They're like, just fucking fade away. Okay. All right. I think that actually just about covers all of the like services and infrastructure I need to build for this new development. Yeah, my power plant is still looking pretty good. Let's fill this block with a bunch of parks and stuff. This is going to be half of this is going to be very like flower garden. Other half is going to be very sports. So boom. Then I'm gonna do something like this. I'm gonna do something like this. There we go. Very cute, very pretty. Then over here, I'm gonna have some sports facilities. Like so. I'm gonna have, let's see, the tennis court will be here. Actually, I have 2 tennis courts. I'll have 2 of each of these. So unfortunately, it makes everything be on separate grades and stuff, but like you you kind of have to suspend your disbelief and be like, okay, so it's like you can simply teleport across the retaining wall. Okay, so that's nice. All right, so we've got those parks laid out quite nicely. Let's put down some commercial zones. I'm not sure if I want to kind of spare the beach of the density for like flavor reasons or anything. Did that do something? I think that did something that I didn't quite want it to do. Sometimes what I'll do if I have a beach put down in some of my other cities, what I have done is I will make the areas around the beach be zoned for lower density. So if my city is primarily high density, I'll zone for medium density, just like in these surrounding blocks. Or if my city is medium density, I'll zone for low density in these surrounding blocks. You know, it's just a cute little flavor thing that I do sometimes, but I don't know if I want to do it this time. Not entirely sure. He's at 6. Probably 2 of these. Yeah. Anyone does that. There we go. I think there are actually like 3x5 lots in. I may actually want to like check my plugins folder. That's a subfolder in my plugins folder. I don't know if okay, that's a lot of plugins. Maybe I'll just go. I'm gonna look on Simpropolis real quick. Since this is a stream about, you know, fucking building SimCity. Compatible. Let's see, 5x5. Yeah, okay. So a lot of these are like 5 by something. Let's make a 5x5 lot right here. Just do that. Yasin679, welcome. Hello. Playing some SimCity. Maybe you're missing dependencies. I do know that there's a dependency missing for the water plant that I use, but I've made sure for everything that it's possible for. I do know that there are dependencies required for a lot of this, and for 99% of my stuff, I'm not missing any dependencies. The exceptions are for certain Japanese style buildings and for the water plant, both of which may be lost media. I've looked, I've spent hours looking, and I can't find anything. But I assure you, beyond the things that I know about already, that it might not even be possible for me to recover, I'm not missing any dependencies. So, welcome in. Hope you have a good time. Hmm. I want to experiment a little bit with the big lots, but I don't want them to like dominate these. Well, okay, yeah. I mean, like I was explaining earlier that I created an entire new building style for some of the flavor mods that I have. Like, let me see if I can find a working Japanese style building. In the city, it shouldn't be that hard. There's a few of them dotted around. Here's a couple. They're not facing towards you, but you can see down there, I added the Japanese building style. So in the base game, max size of commercial is 4x4. I do know that because there are 4x4 commercial lots in the city. But I have a shitload of mods installed. I have what happened? Oh, I don't know why it does that. I have the Colossus add-on mod. You may notice buildings cannot grow past stage 8 in the base game. But I have some stage 9 buildings. And if I'm not mistaken, somewhere there's a building that's actually stage 10. Maybe I am mistaken, but nonetheless. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's a stage 10 building. So I have the Colossus add-on mod, I have the network add-on mod, I have a bunch of other mods, a bunch of building sets, and that sort of thing. And I'm building a metropole of New York and Japan themed buildings. Relots. Let me try a 6x5 lot, see if that does anything. Or maybe a 7x6. I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to open, I think I'd have to open PIM in order to see for sure like what size these lots are. So I'd rather not do that. Maybe I'll do 5x5. And I'll do a little 1x3. Do like a 3x4. Using Cam 3.0. No, I'm actually wait, Cam 3.0. Maybe whatever the newest version of Cam is, I'm using the version immediately before that because the new version doesn't necessarily change enough for me to personally justify updating. And it doesn't really change the way that I play the game. And I feel like installing the new version will require me to have to go through and make sure none of my mods get fucked up. Because for some of the mods I installed, for example, the Industrial Revolution mod, the mod load order matters a lot, and that might have a cascading effect. So unless there's like something that I'm really interested in gameplay-wise that changes with the Colossus add-on mod in future versions, I think I'm just going to stick with the current version that I'm on. Which, if I'm not mistaken, March of 2026. So probably 3.0. Probably. I don't know. Yeah, I think it is 3.0. Actually, let's have a couple of these here. Then I'll have another 4x3. I used to do 4x2 a lot. In fact, you know what? Maybe it's worth it to do some of that. I'll put a 4x2 and then a 4x3. Usually like to have the bigger zones on the avenues there. Some of this. Okay. Nice roundabouts. That's kind of annoying. Yeah, the grading there isn't super cooperative, it seems. I'll have to revisit that. All right, SimCity, terrain engine, sure. Go off, I guess. But yeah, this is the one thing I'm missing dependencies for, but couldn't find it. Especially because like a lot of the modding I did kind of hit when Simtropolis went down, which is unfortunate. Okay. What? Something here? Sure. Save just for good measure. I think I want to do this actually. There we go. You talk about how Elon being the first trillionaire. I didn't talk about that yet. Thank you for reminding me. I will do so now. Yeah, Elon Musk is now the world's first trillionaire. The age of robber barons in the 1910s and 20s was the age of millionaires. And then the later half of the 20th century, going into the 21st century, was the age of billionaires. And now it seems we've entered the age of trillionaires, where the wealth concentration is so severe that one man controls more wealth than half of the entire country of the United States. And that's even being so charitable as to consider minor stock holdings as control over wealth, which it isn't really. You know, that's like you count people's savings accounts, 401ks, etc., as wealth that they control. You know, which is a very different type of wealth than what Elon Musk controls, which is so large that it has to be measured in terms of like abstract resources, companies he owns, governments he has influence over, that sort of thing. This is a new age of literally unprecedented income inequality. It's actually 50% of all of humanity. Okay, I was mistaken. Lefty misinfo. Yeah, okay. Elon Musk controls more wealth than half of humanity combined, which is not good. Needless to say, it is not good that he controls that kind of wealth. I forgot that dezoning affects streets. Silly me. Fake fan. Yeah, and the way he did this too is sort of an ominous hallmark, an ominous watermark. Yeah, Elon Musk controls entire companies, and the bottom 50%, that's a good way to put it, like owns digital baseball cards and that sort of thing, right? And like you ask them about their baseball cards and they're like, I just think they're neat. And then like Elon Musk owns companies that direct national policy making across the world for various countries. Right? The way that Elon Musk went from billionaire to trillionaire was with the SpaceX IPO. Now, if you buy this IPO, you are in fact a rube, unless you fucking like, I don't know, you buy that shit one day and then sell it the next, right? You make $5, sure. Right? Because it's the stock market, it's all fake. But no, what he did was he actually lobbied and got laws changed, like actually changed the law in the United States so that his company, SpaceX, could be included on a lot of stock index funds. This is straightforwardly a pump and dump scheme aided and abetted by the federal government. Ordinarily, an IPO would actually not be allowed to become part of these stock index funds right away because stock index funds are where a lot of people's 401ks sit. They're supposed to be stable. And IPOs are pretty inherently unstable. But Elon Musk was like, nah, that's not enough. And so they changed the law. Now, SpaceX is one of the first companies, in fact, I think the first company that's allowed to essentially worm its way into these index funds while having no, like, being a loss leader, essentially, still. You know, like it's a fucking weird ass, fake, hype driven company where the stock market already is a hype driven, like, economic venue. And so essentially they're like rewriting laws to juice the stock price even more. He has 5 times the funding of the US Army. Yes, I think that's correct. Thank you for the follow, Yasin. Um yeah, and so the Elon becoming a trillionaire is the product of one giant pump and dump. And that is going to be very characteristic of this next age of wealth inequality, right? The previous age of wealth inequality, the era of millionaires and billionaires, was defined by your Warren Buffett types, you know, your Bill Gates types, the corporatist, like more competent businessmen who were just interested in putting, you know, managing their portfolios competently, and essentially like watching the number go up steadily over time to achieve stable, but robust returns year over year, right? That they contented themselves with that for the most part. But now the newer generation of the owning class is not content with like 5 to 10% year over year returns. They want it all and they want it all now. So they're going to strip the country and sell it for like its copper wire and stuff. Yeah, it's essentially we're in the era of scams. And this is sort of the first major one, I think. Is a you know, a way you could put this. I just love these flower gardens. They look so nice. Um it's going to be really weird because a lot of the times, you know, people are used to analyzing capital in the context of supporting the national interest. Historically, American business interests have been very involved in propping up American empire, and in many ways, American empire was sort of able to assert itself over the interests of capital. Like a victory for capital would have to also be a victory for American empire. But now, characteristic of the pump and dumps that Elon is engaging in, of, you know, AI, of the cutting of various federal programs, a lot of victories of capital and the capital class are now turned into an Australian for a second, are now being enjoyed at the expense of the American national interests. And of course, you know, death to America, caca. We hate the American empire here, of course, naturally. Glory to the Maoist third worldist cause and so forth. But I do want to highlight that it is truly unprecedented for things like this to happen. Yeah, AI is starting to, like, because of AI posing as an ersatz of humanity and like trying to effectively convince you that it is human in ways that it isn't. It's like, I don't know. It is genuinely, it is very hard for me to describe, especially because, like, you know, I'm not an economist. I'm an anthropologist, right? I guess I could describe the ways in which it is destroying the social fabric. You know, the ways in which it is sort of undercutting culture because it's becoming the culture when the purpose of it was to summarize culture. Broad strokes, I guess, but like, yeah. So Elon Musk fucking owns your 401k now, or at least will very soon. Um, you know, but this sort of thing it's not stable enough to constitute a new economic paradigm for very long. Uh, We live in more Hitlerian times than the fucking German Reich. I swear to God, we kind of do. In a way, we kind of do. They are not. We are not in times as dire or drastic yet as existed in the 20th century in Nazi Germany. But we're getting there. People are more willing to destroy the economy now than they were back then. That is for sure. Fascism looks way, way the fuck more um more unrestricted now. Start buying gold type shit. Not this is not financial advice. I don't know. I like the only extent to which I'm involved in the stock market is that which is like purely involuntary, right? Like I have a savings account and banks invest that money in the stock market to get returns and stuff. So to that extent, I have wealth in the stock market, but like not really, you know? Money under the mattress is like the smartest thing to do right about now, I think. You know, something like that. Let's have a nice little softball field. Rice and beans, get to know your neighbors, etc., etc. But as I was saying, this kind of scam economy, while it will make the rich unfathomably richer, it's not sustainable long term because there is, as you pointed out, a finite amount of wealth in the world. You cannot actually have a system wherein everybody has zero wealth except for one person that has all the wealth. At a certain point, um, yeah, the scamonomy is like fucking snake oil salesman on steroids. Like, absolutely. At a certain point, right? Like the billionaires are engaging in their like doomsday bunker shit as well. And that can't persist forever. Like wealth is a social construct and therefore only really exist in the environment where it can be used to do various things. The more that billionaires isolate themselves from the public, the more they separate themselves from society, the less wealthy in effect they actually become. You know, the less relevant they become. You know, consider a sort of apocalypse scenario where it's like, oh, perfect, Jeff Bezos gets to use his bunker now, right? He can't take, because of how much wealth is wrapped up in various assets around the world, they can't take their wealth with them into the bunker when things start to destabilize. So that wealth is it's not even going to be like the previous revolutions in history where revolutionary forces, that happens sometimes, my game just crashes, you know, go to great pains to seize the wealth of the wealthy from the offshore accounts, from their mansions and that sort of stuff. It is going to be an order of magnitude easier to seize the wealth of the billionaires when that time actually comes. Because they're going to be shut up in their bunkers and they're going to be like, haha, you can't get me now. And then everybody's going to be like, okay, we'll just go take all your shit, I guess. You know, and they're going to be stuck in their bunker and New York is still going to be New York, right? That's the kind of economic track that we're about to start that we're starting to walk here. From my understanding of economics. Again, I'm not an economist, but I have read Adam Smith. I've read a little bit of Marx. I've read Piketty. I've read Lenin. I've read Luxemburg, right? I've read various studies on things like affordable housing. I've even read a little bit about how stock market wealth impacts the socioeconomic constitution of various countries. I kind of understand what I'm talking about here more than, you know, most people that you would find on TV. But, you know, it's murky because things are going to destabilize in a pretty major way. The moment those doors close and wealth stops meaning anything, the staff's going to sodomize them. That probably will happen too. There will be much gamer activity occurring inside those bunkers once, you know, billionaires don't really have any they don't have any meaningful social position anymore to uh, uh, support the notion that they should be on top in the social arrangement. It's going to turn into them being on the bottom in a socio-sexual relationship very quickly. Because the position of billionaire, because of how much wealth is fake, the position of being a billionaire, being an investor, is as much a social one as an economic one. It has to do with your relationship to society, not just how much money and like purchasing power you personally have, but the relationship you have to people around you and institutions that you contact for various reasons. You know, when those institutions start to break down, so do those relationships. Maybe that's why they're so desperate for both AI and brain chips. I think it's that, and they're also just really stupid. But yes, that's part of it, where they sort of want to automate. They almost want to automate their own existence, right? Where it's like, oh, we want to construct this automated system so that even in a environment where people are no longer present, we still have all the power and wealth, you know? But that's not actually possible. You can't actually do that. It's not going to work. Try as they might, you know? Whatever AI shit they come up with. AI toothbrush, AI dental floss, fucking AI enema, you know? Right? Like you can't automate the society out of society. We will always live in a society. Truly, the Joker was right. The Joker was spitting. AI dildo already a thing, by the way. Yeah, and that's just like marketing bullshit. Like, ooh, an AI dildo. Was a fucking chat GPT in your dildo? It's gonna ask you every 5 minutes, how are you enjoying this sex toy experience? It's like, shut the fuck up and get back in my asshole. Right? Like, I imagine that's probably how that'd go. Probably. I think, to bring it back around to something that's relevant to SimCity, I think that's why urbanism as a set of ideas is and political priorities is actually so important. Because at the end of the day, like the city block and like the neighborhood and that sort of thing, that's where real economic activity happens. The stock market, the fucking billionaires investing over and over again, fucking fuel prices on the highway, like cars driving on the most crazy asphalt abomination in all of Texas. That stuff is the fake economy. It exists to sort of keep the illusion that money is moving and people are doing things, when in reality, you're just in the torment nexus. But a neighborhood block like this, where, oh yeah, somebody lives in this apartment building and like, I don't know, they go shop at this little retail shop over here. They go to college here, they study and that sort of stuff. That's the real economy, the stuff that people actually do day to day, and the resources, the physical resources that actually get pushed around. Yes, the economy is people making things. The economy is when you purchase a burrito from a local like Mexican restaurant and you eat it and you're like, yum, tasty burrito. That's the real economy. You know, the stock market is the fake economy. Even when you go to, like, if you live in Europe or something, you go to a soccer match or football. You watch the teams. You have a great time with your homies. You get some pub food. That's the real economy. Yes, yes, fursuit sewing, people engaging in their hobbies. That's the real economy. Furries are John Maynard Keynes' strongest warriors. I believe in, it's funny. Keynes Keynesian economics is actually very, very close, if not literally one-to-one market socialism. because a lot of it is focused on things like the velocity of money, and you want the velocity of money to be as high as possible. The highest possible velocity of money is a version of money that's actually entirely transient. Labor vouchers. Keynesian economics is labor vouchers. You know, the prioritization of like, we need to stimulate real economic activity in the populace, make sure that the working class has enough money in their pockets to go purchase food, at the grocery store, eat out a few times a month, and like go to the sports game with their friends, and generally spend money on being active in their community. The way that you best optimize for that is by maximizing the amount of money that the government is spending on like development programs. And when I say maximizing spending, I mean like in-house spending, not like contracting, that sort of thing. But yeah, a lot of this hobby shit, you think about like, oh man, my hobby's really expensive. I want the entire economy to look like that. I want the entire economy to be people going and eating at Mexican restaurants, buying Gundams, wearing their fursuit, that sort of shit. Because it's like, oh yeah, somebody with real expertise had to design and make that fursuit and then sell it to somebody. Somebody interested had to buy it, and they're getting real use value out of it. They're enjoying it. And then they go to the convention. They're hungry. They get a delicious burrito, right? Economies have functioned this way for millennia. What is building on my screen right now? What is this? The fucking broken pencil tip looking ass apartment. Kayla Furry, was it you or was it 1v3 earlier talking about your friend who had acrophobia? uh, okay. All right. For what it's worth, buildings like this are also the fake economy. Buildings like this fucking suck. In a real city, I would not want something like this to be built. What are Spanish politics doing on the EU is way too funny. Lay it on me. What's up? What's going on in that sweet Spanish politics and so forth? What are these? Magellan travel gear? Oh no. Wait, somebody said they didn't want the Twin Towers to build. Guys, I have bad news. We did the Twin Towers again. This is even like a New York architecture style too. Oh no. Yeah, guys. They fucking said that 9/11 was so good. They had to make 9/11 2. 9/11 was so good. Why isn't there a 9/12? Yes, 7/11. That's a convenience store chain though. I think you can actually build the 7-Eleven. I think one of the mods I have, I think, allows for like a 7-Eleven convenience store to build, to zone up. What is this? Okay. That's so much more pretty. Like this shit, cringe, ugly, Dubai coded. Yeah, I did. I clicked on the link. But like buildings like this, cringe, bullshit, like neolib, Dubai, Labubu coded. Buildings like this one that's getting built there, beautiful like Art Deco New York city life pilled. John Maynard Keynes, essentially comradely behavior, not comradely behavior type shit. True Soviet architecture. That is 100% true. Absolutely. All right, now let's look at this. Let's look at this video. What is going on here? I saw the translation. It says this has to be a joke. What is this?
Birthday to Trump. Happy birthday to Trump. Happy birthday, Mr. Genocide. Happy birthday
Yes!
to Trump.
Happy birthday, Mr. Genocide. That's true. Big facts. It also hits different coming from Spain because Spain's like one of fucking two or maybe three countries willing to not support Israel. Yeah, this is real politics. Real politics. Fake politics is when the Democrats are like, actually, we would have done the Iran war better than you. Real politics is when Spanish politician is happy birthday, Monsieur Genocide, and Spain is like actually embargoing Israel type shit. Truth nuke. Thank you. Very cool. If this were another country, like if she were German, this would be pure virtue signal. But like, she's so sad saying it too. Real, I have a hard time gleaning tone from other languages, but I'll take your word for it. Big facts. Is this the same? I think this is the same building as that one there. Like it's one thing to say that, but it's another thing to be Spain and to say that while you're also like kind of politically committing to not sending aid to Israel and that sort of shit. Look at that. Already we got like almost 230,000 people in the city. Which by the way is like easily 3-ish times as dense as a city this size would be. You know? Yeah, I know. Well, if anything, it's actually good that people want more commercial development. Um, I think if I'm not mistaken, somebody who knows more about like the game engine can correct me if I'm wrong. But I think the amount of commercial development in your city is dependent on both the residential development, but also the industrial development. Like if you want more commercial demand in your city, you do have to make sure that there's enough industry. Like that boosts commercial demand in a certain way. You know, because if like you don't have enough industry, people would just want you to be like, yeah, they're AI generating different ethnic and country Hitlers. That's actually peak. We found it, the most ethical use of AI, generating Hitlers from different countries to be like, you're Hitler, you're Hitler, you're Hitler, all of you are Hitler. For Israel, you don't even need to AI generate it for real. You could just draw the fucking mustache on Netanyahu and he would look exactly like that. It's actually kind of crazy. No, this shit again. All right. Try to fix that up. Please zone correctly this time. Okay. That's something. Well, I'll come back and see if it actually. Uh-oh. That thing happened again. It's the same thing always. I don't know why the game struggles with that, but whatever. Let's do it again. And we'll see if this office building zones up. Jewish Hitler, Adif Hadel. That's really funny. Is that Hebrew? The Adif Hadel. Bro, what the what is happening there, dude? The fucking God, that's funny. What are they doing there? Oh, an ambulance? Yeah, seriously. These are purely cosmetic too. Like, car crashes don't actually occur in this game. As funny as that would be, I think it was like it's like okay, that's like a little too much. Programming an individual car crash. No, I fucking did the thing again. I hate when it does that. Come on, I wanna be satisfied that like oh yeah, that commercial development that I was or that super block that I was working on. Adam Hitler for the U.S. That's actually amazing. I want to be satisfied that like this development has zoned in a way that's like not super broken or anything, and then I'll be probably done for the stream. It's really funny. Dude, you know what that reminds me of is the Israeli post from some Israeli spokesperson or some fucking page shill of Israel. I don't fucking know. Where they were like, when you think about it, Eid al-Fitr, the little Eid, I think, which is at the beginning of the month, I believe. It is like, when you think about it, that actually sounds like Adolf Hitler. Because they said it super anglicized. They said like Adolf Fit. It was like, that's not how you pronounce that, you fucking dumbass. Um, it's like unbelievable. And what I mean by unbelievable is not like that they would do that. I 100% believe that they would do that. That they'd be like, that actually sounds kind of like Hitler when you think about it. No, the unbelievable thing is like you fucking expect somebody to fall for this that isn't already pro-Israel and like wants to kill Arabs. Like, what are you doing? You know, especially when you consider that like a lot of Arab-speaking people don't even call it Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. It for some of them it's okay. What the fuck was going on there? For a lot of them, it's Eid Saghir and Eid Kabir. Which again, did respectively mean the little Eid and the big Eid. Which I think is really cute. You have the little holiday and the big holiday. It's like Little Boy and Fat Man, but with less nuclear explosion and human rights violations. No, now I'm actually missing a dependency. What is going on? Yasin was right. They were cooking. I'm gonna have to fix that. They hacked the Israel News Twitter account and they started reposting VTubers. That's super funny. But also there is like right-wing VTuber shit. You know, that has been known to happen, but yeah. I don't know if it was like actually that though. Damn, dude. Dude, this city is like not stopping build. I think I'm just gonna call it here because like look at this. Look at all that city. Look how much city. That's a lot of building. I'm gonna go look for that dependency actually. Yeah, it seems like another one built right here that I need to. Is that the 5x5? No, that is not the 5x5 zone. Oh, like department store. Yeah, I clearly need to go look for whatever this is that's missing. So I'm going to write that down. Let's see. Cool. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, the folks who tuned in. This has been fun. I hope you enjoyed me like slowly building out the area of this city. Even though in terms of development, I didn't add all that much land, we more than doubled the city's population. Look at that. At the beginning of this city was only like 108,000. And now look. Seriously, SimCity 4 is fun. I would recommend learning to play city builders like that. And you know what? I think I will try to learn how to play Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. I would love to build a Soviet style city of like affordable apartment blocks and like manageable scale and that sort of thing. That would be awesome. So I think I just saved the game. So I'm going to exit without saving. Make sure that everything looks okay from above. And yeah. Ooh, look at that. Look at that metropole. I'm going to see who is live for me to raid. And then I will see you all next time. Cody Schwab is live. And he is playing as Yoshi. Pray for my man's sanity. He was really struggling when he played Mewtwo. Yoshi's a significantly better character, but still a double jump cancel character, which is really hard to get the hang of. So very true. All right, see y'all later.